Okay, about to pull apart an EF Falcon Alternator. And, first of all, we're going to actually undo the bolt here just with a rattle gun, undo the 4 bolts around here and disconnect the electrical nuts, take those off, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, once the 4 bolts are out and the actual drive is off, next is to put a jaw puller on and pull the top cover assembly off. To get the centre out of the alternator, all I do is, the tools I've got, it's probably a special tool for this, but in turn I've just rigged up bearing puller and a slide hammer, which I'm just going to actually tap it just to pull it past the actual brushes. And with a few gentle taps, the centre section is out. So now remove the top cover, the pulley, the nut, 4 screws, electrical connections, centre section. We're now looking internally, want to pull the windings out. That's 1, 2, and there's another screw hidden down under here. So I want to undo those, and getting to this one, you've got to lift up the windings and just gently pull up a little bit to access that Phillips head. Okay, windings are out. Now next thing for me, I've just got to fix this up because I messed it up when I was first getting it, because I had these were tucked in, they were all clagged up, and after actually cleaning all this assembly with some electrical contact spray, freed them, and they were both totally stuck in, so there was nothing. So this alternator's done 330,000 kilometres, so I reckon there's got to be at least another 300,000 kilometres left in this thing. But unfortunately I broke this plate here, this one that's in here, and in turn when I stuck it back together it was a bad job, and I used some glue, hot melt glue gun, but unfortunately later on I realised that I'd been, had a brain fade. That's where the plug goes on, so the plug doesn't go down, so I'm pulling this apart to remove that stuff and then put it all back together. And now that I've fixed up my error of getting rid of all the hot melt glue out of there, because this is the bit I broke off, which is still holding with the super glue that's in there. And this one's one I cleaned out the actual brushes. If you need to clean out the brushes, there's another plate here. This comes off. Top plate pushes off, there's a rubber piece underneath, you prise that off, and that gives you access to your brushes. And I just sprayed liquid down the inside and continued that probably 20 times, and blew it out with an air compressor, and then that got to the stage where it freed up the bushes to come out as they are there now. Next bit is now I'll reassemble it. Okay, 3 Phillips head screws are in, 1, 2, 3. If you don't end up swearing while you're putting that one in, you're doing it wrong, because that's a total pain. Next bit is to get the brushes back to insert the armature. Okay, the brushes have now been retracted, and that's just by using a little pick tool, pushing down. And on the back side there's a pin hole in the back of your alternator, and just use a piece of thin wire. Actually just pushes all the way through and holds them in place so you can put the armature back in. Okay, screws are all back in, and in turn putting the rattle gun onto this nut here, I just held it, then the rattle gun, and nice and tight. So there it is, all finished, ready to go back in the car.